The date is March 29th, 1987. The Pontiac Silverdome pulsates with a deafening roar, a visceral symphony of nearly 93,000 voices unified in anticipation. The air crackles with an almost religious fervor, a tangible electricity that vibrates through every seat, every sinew, every soul gathered for WrestleMania III. In the center of this coliseum, under the blinding glare of the spotlights, two titans stand poised on the precipice of legend. One, a mountain of a man, Andre the Giant, an enigma of nature, larger than life in every conceivable way, an undefeated Leviathan whose very presence commands awe. The other, a sun-kissed blonde in vibrant red and yellow, his muscles bulging, a cascade of golden hair flowing, his eyes burning with an unshakable belief. This is Hulk Hogan, the hero of a generation, the embodiment of Hulkamania, and he is about to face his greatest test. The tension is unbearable. Andre, with his sheer mass and intimidating stare, seems to swallow the very light around him. Hogan, the champion, paces, flexes, and attempts to rally the rabid faithful with his signature poses. The bell rings, a mere whisper swallowed by the storm of sound. Andre's monstrous chops echo through the arena, each one seemingly designed to splinter bone. Hogan, the underdog in stature but not spirit, fights from beneath, absorbing punishment, his face a mask of determination. The crowd lives and dies with every punch, every slam, every desperate kick-out. Then, the moment, the impossible moment, Hogan, drawing upon a reserve of strength that transcends the physical, a strength fueled by the hopes and dreams of millions of Hulkamaniacs, hoists Andre the Giant, all 520 pounds of him, into the air. The gasp that ripples through the Silverdome is audible even amidst the pandemonium. It's a collective intake of breath, a recognition of the miraculous. For a suspended second, Andre is airborne, an impossible feat defying gravity and expectation. Then, with a crash that reverberates through the very foundations of the stadium, Hogan slams the colossal Frenchman to the canvas. The sound is not just an impact, it is thunder, a sonic boom that announces a shift in the tectonic plates of sports entertainment. The 3 count is a mere formality, lost in the explosion of cheers and the unbridled euphoria. In that single monumental act, Hulk Hogan didn't just win a wrestling match, he transcended the boundaries of his profession. He became a myth, a legend, an immortal figure in the tapestry of American pop culture. He was no longer just a wrestler, he was a superhero, a symbol of perseverance, of believing in yourself, of fighting for what's right. That night, Hulk Hogan didn't just define a moment, he defined an era. And now the world mourns. The icon, the legend, the man who brought wrestling out of smoky arenas and into the mainstream consciousness, has departed. Terry Bollea, known to millions as Hulk Hogan, passed away on July 24, 2025, at the age of 71. The news arrives with a profound sense of finality, a stark reminder that even the mightiest of giants eventually fall. For decades, Hogan was a constant, a vibrant force, his presence a guarantee of excitement, controversy, and larger-than-life spectacle. His death marks not just the passing of a man, but the undeniable closing of a chapter, the fading echo of a golden era that he, more than anyone, engineered. Hulk Hogan's impact on professional wrestling and pop culture is simply unmatched. Before Hogan, professional wrestling, while popular, largely resided in regional territories, a niche form of entertainment for a dedicated but segmented audience. Hogan, under the visionary guidance of Vince McMahon Jr., catapulted it into the stratosphere, transforming it into a global phenomenon. His charisma was undeniable, a magnetic force that drew in audiences from all walks of life. Children mimicked his poses, chanted his catchphrases, and wore his iconic red and yellow. He transcended the confines of the squared circle, appearing in movies, television shows, and becoming a household name. He was the face of the Federation's national expansion, a main event draw who packed arenas and sold out pay-per-views, turning wrestling from a cult pastime into a primetime spectacle. He was, without hyperbole, the most iconic figure in wrestling history, his image synonymous with the very word wrestling itself. The journey to becoming Hulk Hogan began long before the bright lights of WrestleMania. Born in Augusta, Georgia, he honed his craft in the rough and tumble world of wrestling territories in the late 1970s. He started as Terry Bollea, then Sterling Golden, building his physique and his understanding of the business, a powerful but raw talent. He had a brief, impactful stint in the World Wrestling Federation in the late 70s, even facing Andre the Giant in Shea Stadium in 1980. His early career also saw him wrestle in Japan, where he adopted a more submission-based style. But it was his appearance as Thunderlips in the 1982 film Rocky III that truly caught the eye of the wider public and, more importantly, Vince McMahon Jr. McMahon, with his grand vision for a national wrestling empire, saw in him the perfect embodiment of the American hero, a larger-than-life figure who could connect with audiences on a visceral level. The explosion of Hulkamania in the 1980s was an unprecedented phenomenon. Upon his return to the Federation in late 1983, McMahon made a bold move, putting the championship belt on Hogan, who defeated the Iron Sheik in Madison Square Garden in January 1984. The crowd erupted, and a new era was born. With his signature red and yellow attire, his bandana, his 24-inch pythons, Hogan became a role model for millions. Hulkamania wasn't just a wrestling gimmick, it was a movement, a philosophy. He defeated challengers like Roddy Piper, Paul Orndorff, and King Kong Bundy, each victory cementing his status as the invincible champion. He headlined 8 of the first 9 WrestleManias, a testament to his unparalleled drawing power, consistently delivering moments that captured the public imagination. His feud with Andre the Giant, culminating at WrestleMania III, was a masterclass in storytelling, a clash of titans that transcended sport and became a cultural touchstone. The Mega Powers storyline with Randy Savage, the rise and fall of their friendship, captivated audiences with its soap opera drama and explosive in-ring action. Hulk Hogan was the engine driving the Federation's colossal growth, and his face was plastered on everything from lunchboxes to action figures, making him a true pop culture icon. But even the most invincible heroes must face change. By the mid-1990s, with the Federation in a downturn and fresh challenges emerging, Hogan made a shocking move, defecting to rival promotion World Championship Wrestling in 1994. For 2 years, he continued to play the familiar red and yellow hero, a move that initially boosted the company's ratings but eventually grew stale. Then, at Bash at the Beach in 1996, the unthinkable happened. Hogan, the ultimate good guy, turned his back on the fans, aligning himself with the invading Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to form the New World Order. It was a heel turn of seismic proportions, a moment that sent shockwaves through the wrestling world and irrevocably changed the landscape of the industry. Hollywood Hogan, clad in black, a scowl replacing his iconic grin, became the ultimate villain, the antithesis of everything Hulkamania stood for. The New World Order, with Hogan at its helm, became the hottest act in wrestling, driving his company to unprecedented ratings victories over the Federation during the Monday Night Wars. This reinvention breathed new life into Hogan's career, showcasing his versatility as a performer and proving that even a hero could embrace the dark side and succeed. As the New World Order storyline eventually ran its course and the company ultimately folded, Hogan's career saw further returns and reinventions. He made a triumphant, if surprising, return to the Federation in 2002 alongside Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, but in an incredible display of audience connection, the fans, still yearning for the classic Hulkamania, cheered him as a hero during his WrestleMania 18 match against The Rock, forcing a mid-match face turn. This was a testament to his enduring popularity and the deep-seated emotional connection fans had with the Hulkster character. He went on to have memorable feuds and even captured the undisputed championship, proving he could still compete at the highest level well into his late 40s. His eventual departure from consistent in-ring competition was gradual, but his appearances remained special, evoking waves of nostalgia and reminding everyone of his monumental legacy. However, Hulk Hogan's life, like many public figures, was not without its complications and controversies. In the later years of his career and into his retirement, Hogan faced a series of public scandals that undeniably complicated his otherwise heroic legacy. The most prominent was the Gawker sex tape lawsuit, a legal battle that exposed deeply personal aspects of his life and ultimately led to the downfall of the media company. Further damaging revelations, including the leaked audio of racially insensitive remarks, led to his temporary removal from the WWE Hall of Fame, and a period of estrangement from the company that he had helped build. These incidents forced fans to reconcile the larger-than-life hero with the flawed human being, creating a nuanced and sometimes difficult conversation about his place in history. Yet despite these trials, Hogan consistently worked to rebuild his image and repair relationships, eventually being reinstated into the Hall of Fame and making sporadic, warmly received appearances. His resilience in the face of adversity, while not excusing his actions, demonstrated a desire to ultimately be remembered for his contributions to wrestling rather than his personal missteps. Hulk Hogan changed wrestling forever. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a cultural phenomenon, a bridge between sports and entertainment, a pioneer who understood the power of charisma and connection with an audience. He paved the way for future generations of wrestling superstars to cross over into mainstream media. His passing means an end to the active presence of one of the true titans of the industry, a man who, for good or ill, defined an era. For fans who grew up chanting Hulkamania, it's a moment of reflection, a poignant reminder of childhood heroes and simpler times. For the business, it's a moment to acknowledge the foundation he laid, the stadiums he filled, and the millions of new eyes he brought to the spectacle. The echoes of the golden era, a period of unprecedented expansion and mainstream acceptance, will continue to resonate, but with Hogan gone, that echo feels a little fainter, a little more distant. He was the standard bearer, the ultimate measuring stick for stardom, and his absence leaves an undeniable void. Hulk Hogan was a flawed hero, a complicated legend, but above all, he was an immortal, a man whose impact on professional wrestling is as indelible as the red and yellow he wore, forever ingrained in the hearts and memories of generations of fans. May he rest in peace.